Okay, so how do we get to something like this and we start carving, all right? You're going to first look for a clip art image that you like, right? Here we have another one that I did earlier today, right? And I want you to notice something here. And I did it like this on purpose. Look what happens when, you can still do it, but look what happens where you have a rough surface and you're trying to scratch or do the sgraffito versus a smooth surface right here and you're doing the scratching. This is why I asked you guys to do the scratching, not the scratching, but the smoothing out of the surface. You want it to be smooth, not rough. Smooth. This will help you when you start carving or scratching, doing the sgraffito. Okay? So, back to this. You're going to grab your tile piece, your clay piece. You're going to smooth it out. You're going to fix the edges, right? Then after you do that, before you paint the black, right, you are going to take a moist sponge, and that moist sponge, because if you put black on here, it's going to flake right off. And if you put black and you think it's on there and you didn't wipe, and then you start scratching or doing the sgraffito technique, pieces of black will flake off. And you're like, what's going on? It's because of that. So you take that moist sponge, you're not trying to make it soak and wet, but you take it and you're just trying to remove all that clay, that dust. Then you take your underglaze, and this may take me a little while because it's a small brush, but you want to do, again, you want to paint in one direction, You don't want to scrub, you don't want to go like this because you don't want to activate the clay, because then the clay gets wet and activated and then the black becomes kind of grayish rather than a nice black. So you just want to paint one area and move along. Paint one area and move along, you know? And be very light. If you need to go back into an area, light. You don't want to wake up the white clay. Okay? That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. So you can see that it's starting to dry. It's starting to dry. It's starting to dry. So while this is drying, let's prepare the clip art that we're going to use. Or if you were coming up or doing another project, any kind of drawing that you're making. Now, what I want you to do is, before you take this and start rubbing the whole back with the white or gray Conti crayon. Again, we're using white or gray Conti crayon because the underglaze is black. So we can't use charcoal or lead pencil because we won't see it, obviously. So what I want you to do is, when you kind of hold it up to the light, you can kind of see the image, right? Here's the image, but I want you to trace where you are going to put that white chalk. Okay, there it is. That's where I'm going to put it. Two reasons. One, we don't want to be wasteful and do the whole thing. And two, it keeps it clean from spreading all over your piece. You just don't need to do that. So you just trace it, and now you go ahead and you just go ahead and put that Conti crayon on here. And sometimes, if you hold it up with the light or what have you, you can kind of see if you missed an area. It's kind of hard because it is white on white. Maybe like that you can kind of see, like, yeah, okay, I can see right there where I got the chalk. So that's kind of good. All right. Now, I am working fairly quickly. It is a little wet right there, but I think we will be just fine for that. Okay? I think we're going to be just fine. Okay, placement. Now, How do I want to place it? Let's suppose I was crammed up in here and I just put it on here and I'm like, well, I don't know. How do I know? So if you do something like this, where you go like this, you can see like, oh, okay, I'm not inside the black area. Or, you know, oh, yeah, it's not really fitting in there properly. So I'm like, well, I want it to be somewhat in the middle. The same evenness black here and black here, back here. So I might go like this. Okay, that's where I'm at. And over here. Am I too close up here? Let me see. No. Okay. Maybe I can move it over a little bit. Maybe go like that a little bit. I like that. There. Okay, that seems good. All right. Now, I'm going to grab a pencil that has a round tip. Not a super sharp pencil. A pencil with a round tip. You can also use a pen. But we are not going to tape the paper down. So once you start, and you have your finger here, or your two fingers, do not move this around. Do not move this around. Okay, so, and don't put your palm on the piece. Don't push down very hard with your two fingers because you could crack your piece. Don't put your palm down. You're going to put your palm out here and you're going to start tracing. So this is just a light trace. You don't have to go crazy. Yeah, the more detail you have, the better. But, you know. And then, yeah, this part in here, don't go crazy trying to get every little detail of the interior of the flower, because you're just going to have to do some of that through observation, meaning looking at it. This lotus flower. And then at this point you're like, is this really working? I don't want to waste time. So keeping your two fingers here, you can peek and you can be like, okay, Shazam. Oh, look at that. I forgot this little piece right up here. That's another thing. Before you take your paper off and you're like, I'm done, you should do a quick like, let me see, okay. All right, yo, you know what I could use in there right here is I can see maybe where is this part at, because see, I don't have it there. And so that could help me a lot, like to know where this part is. Better, much better. All right, so let me just finish this and I'm going to show you guys. Be patient. Be patient. And if you see that I'm doing this within 10 minutes, that means that it should not take you all class period to do this. It really should not. And I don't want you working two at a time. Just do one, do this, then you can do the other one if you want. Or you can wait until I print out more images, because there are a lot of other animals that I have not been able to print out yet. So maybe you want to hold off and wait for the next class time when I have more images out, because I don't have all the images out. Okay? I have more images that you can use. And right here, and we are just about done here. All right, before I move it out, let me check. Let me check. Does it look like it's all on there? Yep, it sure does. All right, we're done with that. Now, you don't throw this away, but I do ask that you write your initials and the number period, the number period that you're in, put it on there, and your initials, because you're going to need this, and you're not going to just keep grabbing one every time in class. And this could be the cover for your piece when it's time for cleanup and you're putting it away. You take it, you put it there like that, and you put it upside down on the tray, and then back here is your initials. All right, that's how we're going to do it when we clean up. Now let's start carving, right? So look, you can grab this tool. The problem with this tool, although sometimes it's okay because this is super smooth, is that this needle, it kind of bends a little bit, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. It's not bad. I don't mind it. You know, it gives me some control, but I do feel it kind of wavering, and I can use it. This is fine. This is actually nice for like doing really small detail and going like this. Like if maybe you have a bird and you have to do the feathers and you want to do something like this, you know, and you can get some really nice detail on there. But the other tool that you may use is, and these are all brand new, I pulled out some new ones out there. You can use this. It's a lot sturdier. It doesn't move, and you can have more control. And the nice thing is you can have your palm far away from your piece, and it's still sturdy enough. So you can come in here and, you know, scratch and bring it back, and you know, really work on some of these details that are in here. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of time and patience, and you listening to your music on your headphone, not watching a soap opera, because you really got to be looking at this, not your pocket computer. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing. It's just like this. It's not a, you know, it's not difficult. It is a technique, and you can really get some amazing pieces. And this is how it happens. Right now, it all should be thin line. Later, you will come in and make certain lines thick. Like I might want to make the outline out here thicker, so I might come in here and make this thicker. Another tool that can be used, especially when you're trying to make it thick, is some wire. I cut wire and shaped it this way. Do not take this wire and unshape it. Keep the wire shaped this way. It's shaped this way because it's easier to just hold like this. And this wire is nice for, like, I want to make this really thick down here, and I want to make this outline thick right in here. So you can see that I can make it thicker there, and I can make it with this technique right up here using this one a lot thinner up here. Okay, so we have different variety of tools to use. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and this. All right, everybody?